In 1803, the purchase of Louisiana from France prompted westward exploration by pioneers such as Lewis and Clark and Congressman Davy Crockett. The Louisiana Territory was 828,000 square miles and made up all of or part of 15 modern U.S. states between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains. The Louisiana Territory was originally controlled by the Kingdom of France from 1699 until 1762. At the end of the French and Indian War, it was handed over to the Spanish. It was owned by the Spanish until 1800, when it was sold to Napoleon, who planned to revive the French Empire in the New World. Napoleon wanted to use the wealth from sugar and coffee grown and produced in Saint Domingue to help fund his expansion. But the French soldiers were caught up in a slave revolt and were dying from yellow fever in Saint Domingue. Meanwhile, President Thomas Jefferson was making military preparations to battle the French whenever Napoleon arrived in New Orleans. Jefferson sent James Monroe, we'll talk about him next week, to France to try to purchase New Orleans in West Florida for up to $10 million. If he wasn't able to make the purchase, he needed to try to form an alliance with England to fight off the French. Since Napoleon was not able to overtake Saint Domingue, he decided to give up on his plans for Louisiana and offered Monroe the entire Louisiana Territory for only $15 million. Bucks! Even though Thomas Jefferson was known to be a strict follower of the Constitution, he didn't technically have the right to make the Louisiana Purchase. But since it doubled the size of the United States and it was probably the best real estate deal in the history of the world, and the general public was in its favor of it, most anyone kind of just let it slide. Now that we had all of this land, we need to know what was there. Thomas Jefferson hires Meriwether Lewis and commissions the Corps of Discovery. Lewis asked his former Army commander and best friend William Clark to help him out. They were to take a small group of specially selected soldiers with them to explore and map the new territory. Jefferson wanted to find a water passage to the Pacific Ocean on the west coast. He also wanted them to study the area's plants, animal life, and geography, and to establish trade with local Native American tribes. Lewis and Clark set out on May 14th, 1804, at 4 in the afternoon. Who sets off at a journey at 4 o'clock? It's almost supper time, dude. The expedition took 20 months to reach the west coast, and the trip took 2 years, 4 months, and 10 days to go there and back again. The Hobbit. The Lewis and Clark expedition gave us an understanding of the geography of the Northwest and produced the first accurate maps of the area. During the journey, Lewis and Clark drew about 140 maps. They also established trade with many Indian tribes. In 1786, Davy Crockett was born on a mountain in Tennessee. Actually, it was part of North Carolina, but now it is in Tennessee. Oh, and I prefer to be called David. Davy was a scout in the Tennessee militia during the Creek War. He was an excellent hunter and often killed wild game for the soldiers to eat. He felt he was better at hunting for food than fighting the Creek Indians. It's David! Davy later became a commissioner, and then a justice of the peace, and then a lieutenant in the Tennessee militia. I quit those positions to spend time with my family and running my business. Oh, and it's David, not Davy. Later, he ran for the Tennessee General Assembly. I won! He ran again. I won! Davy was a champion for the rights of poor farmers in Tennessee. And in 1825, he ran for the U.S. House of Representatives. It's David! And I lost that letter. He ran again in 1827. I won! 2 years later, he ran for re-election. I won! While in office, he wanted to shut down the military academy at West Point. All it did was benefit the sons of wealthy people. He was one of the few people that were against Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act. I got a thank you letter from a Cherokee Indian chief for voting against it. He ran for re-election in 1831. I lost. He ran again in 1833. I won! He ran for re-election in 1835 and lost. That's it! I'm going to Texas! Davy went on to fight alongside James Bowie and Sam Houston in the Battle of the Alamo. I did. I hope you enjoyed these facts about the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark. Click over here if you want to subscribe. Click over here or something over here if you want to see the playlist of all the other videos in this series. Click that one. I don't care about this one. That one is the most important button of all time. You better massage it, it's so important. Bye!